Hello and welcome to video number 17 in this series concerning the construction of a Lineside Hut Bowsider coach. As you can now see, if you've watched the other video, we've just now completed the base element of the balcony, steps and the floor. So if you look at a picture of the completed balcony, the next stage is to fabricate the railing. Included in the kit are a couple of pieces of brass strip, and these are used to actually create the railing. The railing has a specific shape, and also included in the kit, if I just put the brass to one side, are two pieces of plywood, and when you glue them together as instructed, that creates a template for the brass strip. So if we take that away, and here's one that's already done. So let's crack on and make the correct shape from the brass strip. Okay, so we've got the template here, and here's a bit of brass strip. I want to put it at the top edge of the template and get it roughly in the middle. And then we'll just start bending this round like this, first on one side and then on the other. Get the basic shape now. Start using your fingers just to form the shape. There's that one side that looks okay, and now it's the other question of getting the other one sorted. There we go. So this top half's okay now. It's a question of sorting this out. Okay, so to make this last bend, it's got to be quite a tight circle, so I want to try and use this part of a screwdriver to make that tight bend. So let's see if we can do that somehow. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Don't know whether you can see that for the moment anyway. It's now a question of getting the rest sorted. Okay, this will do me now for the basic shape. So now we're going to mark off here two holes in the center of the brass strip. We're going to cut off this excess strip from underneath. So let's crack on with that. So when marking to cut off the excess brass strip, I've just marked out a little bit, perhaps 2 or 3 millimeters inwards of the vertical part of the brass strip on both sides. If you look here, it's going to end up something like that. It's not going to go over the edge. It needs to be sort of parallel with the end piece of the balcony. So we'll cut this off both sides, and then we'll mark up for drilling holes. So I'm just going to center punch the marked holes, see if we can do that. So now we'll set up for drilling. Okay, the piece is set up in the vise to drill, and I'm starting with a 1 millimeter diameter drill bit. The trick for this thing is, unfortunately the Dremel doesn't go below 5,000 revs RPM, so we'll stick to that. The drill bit, it's actually quite long, and the trick, or one of the things you can do to ensure that it doesn't snap, is push the drill bit almost all the way in, so you've got about 8 millimeters of the drill left showing. And obviously we'll put a little bit of oil on the place where we're going to drill. So let's crack on. Okay, we'll turn it back round, and these holes need to be drilled out to 1.5 millimeters to accept the vertical brass bars. So we'll crack on with that. Job done. Okay, so off camera I've just filed away any sharp bits on the holes that we've done. So it's 1.5 millimeters at the top there, and they are to accept these vertical bits of brass. And the 1 millimeter here, of course this is like the foot of the balcony where it goes onto the end piece there. That's there to accept these sort of rivet heads. They go through here and onto there. I just want to do a quick check that they actually fit through these holes at the top, and they do. Okay, now that we've got the basic shape of the balcony sorted, the balcony rail, we can now attach it to the steps. So it's going to be going on something like that. So what we need to do is mark off where that sort of rivet nail's coming through. So I'm just going to puncture it about there, just give it a quick thing there, and this side the same. So then what I'll do in the markings that are there, just drill a 1 millimeter hole for the length of the nail there, and then we'll crack on with gluing. That drilling, I'll do that off camera. So let's see if we can put a bit of glue onto the area where that railing's coming. There's one. There's two. Okay, so they're in. So what we'll do now, we'll put this here to sort of put a bit of weight on that element. What I want to do is something like that, and then with a pen on the other side like that, and we'll just leave that to set. So there we are then, the glue set, all looking good at the moment. So the next thing is these vertical bits of brass need to go in here. So there's two things that needs to happen. First, I need to straighten out these pieces of brass, so I'll do that off camera just in the vise, and then we'll come back, and what we need to do is 7 millimeters below the top of the steps there, mark that off, and in a vertical position drill a hole for each one of them. So let's crack on with that. So we've marked this 7 mil depth off. Let's put this in. There's two. Now what we want to do now is try and find a vertical. That's just about vertical. So we need to mark off where that is. So that's there. And with this one, vertical is there. Okay, so we'll drill 1.5 millimeters in there and get on with the next stage. Okay, the holes are dug. Now we've got to bend 90 degrees on one end of this brass strip. About 10 millimeters in, something like that. Alright, so that's in. So we've got to put these in here now. What we're going to do is sort out the length of this railing, this brass piece. So we're going to put them both in like this. And now what I need to do is mark off perhaps a millimeter of 1 or 2 above the brass railing, saw that off, and then we can glue it all together. So we'll crack on with that. So they're all cut, both are cut to length now, so we're going to glue them on with some epoxy. Start with this one. Yeah, there you go. Just pushing it through. Next one. Yeah. So, there it is. Let that dry out. So, both of them are now complete. All the glue's dried up, so it's now a question of getting them painted up. So now the balconies have been painted. So now we're going to crack on and mount them to the end of the coach. So we'll get the wood glue on here. Perhaps put a little bit on the back here as well. So do the same with the other end. Okay, so we'll do, put some weights on and then we're done. Looks okay there. I'll do the same at the other end and let that dry off. So here we have it then, the coach is on its roof. Here's the balcony, and the last bit is to put this cross member, wooden cross member, glue it right up against there so it's attaching to the balcony end and to the floor of the coach, and that then seals it into place. So we'll do that at both ends and then the balcony's done. So here we go then. Just put a bit of weight on. I'll do the same with the other end off camera, and then that's the balcony complete. So I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.